Howdy folks, it's your friend Fishing with Dom. Today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about catfish leaders. Now, I've got this spool right here, nice little filler spool, and then a big spool of leader line. I've got 3 different spools that I use leaders for when I target catfish for 3 different circumstances. The smallest one is for my smaller catfish that I target. The second spool, generally speaking, my moderate to moderately large catfish, and then the big boy, the big leader spool for the large catfish I go after. Now, first things first, I'm going to give you a rundown of when I use these lines, how I use these lines, and generally speaking, where I also use them. I live in eastern Michigan. I live on the Flint River. I live near a local reservoir filled with catfish. A lot of catfish in there, but there isn't a whole lot of size to them. Most of the catfish I pull out of my local reservoir comes about the 4 to 6 pound marker or so. I don't catch giant fish out of there. So generally speaking, when I am targeting channel catfish that aren't going to be that big, I can get away with just using a regular medium powered rod spooled with whatever I have on there. But for my leader material, I will generally use a 12 or 14 pound monofilament, just like this Trilene XL Smooth, to connect my swivel to my hook of choice. Most of the time it's going to be a circle hook, but I'll talk about catfish hooks in a different video. Not only because when I'm targeting channel catfish in my local area, they're not that big, but also where I'm fishing for them, it's kind of stumpy. There's kind of a lot of logs around there. Sometimes I have to grab my line and pull the fish up onto the bank where I'm fishing. And if I'm targeting smaller channel catfish just to, kill the afternoon or find something useful to do with my time, a 12 or 14 pound monofilament does wonders for me. You tie it just right, it's going to break off higher than 14 pounds of stress on it. For what it is and what it does and the fish I catch in my backyard, I'll use the 14 for channel catfish. Now, stepping up a little bit, when I'm on larger rivers and I am looking for bigger channel catfish, I'll use a 20 pound monofilament. Now, this is Trilene Big Game. For about $10 or so, you get 650 yards of this 20 pound test. It's available in a variety of different colors. Your leader line doesn't have to be very brand specific. The only thing it's responsible for doing is being strong and securing your rig to your fish, especially in areas of isolated cover that catfish can be hanging out in. And that's why when I'm fishing larger industrial rivers like the Saginaw River, the Tittabawassee, the Grand River in Michigan, I'll use a 20 pound for my channel catfish purposes, just because I'm fishing around a lot of pylons, a lot of wood, a lot more wood than I would on my local reservoir and river. A lot of metal, a lot of stuff in the water I could get hung up on, or things that can nick my line pretty well if the line isn't very strong. And also speaking, the fish in these rivers are generally much bigger than the ones on my local reservoir. I run the 20 just because it's very limber. It's still very, very strong. I'll catch a few channel catfish every year out of some of my spots that are pushing, between 15, 18 pounds or so, which is a remarkably large channel catfish. And every so often you'll get one over 20, but 20 pound monofilament, Trilene Big Game, Stren Super Knot, trying to think of other monofilaments. 20 pound is what I go with when I'm targeting moderately large catfish, but a lot of it is dictated by the river I am fishing in. Because there's a lot more stuff in the river and the fish are a little bit bigger, I upgrade to the 20. You can get away with a 17 in certain areas, but for the most part, the 20 always gets the job done for me. Now, last of all, when I'm targeting flathead catfish, I go big. And by big, I mean 50 pound monofilament. If you see this, this is a special leader spool of line that you can order from berkeleyfishing.com. 50-pound test trilene big game. It's available in all sorts of different sizes, all sorts of different colors. If you're targeting large blue catfish, they have leader lines up to 100-pound test monofilament on their website. And this spool for 55 yards of 50-pound test, I think it was a little under $6, and that's not that bad for what it is. You don't lose a lot of leaders and hooks when you're flathead fishing a lot of the areas I am, but you know, you take this, you know, plastic ring off of the spool, cut yourself probably 14 inches of line off, snell it to your circle hook, and I'll put a big bluegill out there, and just ready, set, go. The thing is with where I flathead fish, every year there's quite a few big fish caught out of there. The state record Michigan flathead catfish is about 52 pounds. Out of the Saginaw River that I fish quite a bit throughout the year, a few 35s and 40s are caught throughout the year. And when I'm down there wrangling with them, or trying to at least, I like to run the 50. Gives me a little bit more comfort when I'm hooked into a fish and I'm fighting them. It takes a lot to run down 50-pound test. You play your drag right. I'm running a very strong braided line down to my rig. This is what I use when it comes to my big flatheads. Now, if you are a blue catfish angler, same concept, larger fish, larger leader. You can go up to a 100-pound monofilament leader, no problem. Put 1 or 2 hooks on your setup, put your bait out there, and you're good to go. But this might be a very intro level video that I put together for y'all. But there are some people out there who need to hear this. They don't quite know exactly what it is they're looking for or they want to know when it comes to selecting the right leader line for catfish purposes. It's all a product of the fish you're targeting and the size of the fish and where you're fishing it. Smaller fish, you know, I find them out on sandy humps around a few logs and a couple rocks here and there. You know, 12 or 14 pound monofilament to maybe a 10-pound main line. That'll do a-okay. It'll hold up just fine. My larger fish, my large channel catfish that I target, you could use a 17, you could use a 20, you could use a 25 or 30 if you even want to. But I normally rock the 20 when I'm fishing around bridges, fishing around weeds. Generally speaking, I'm trying to catch those larger channel catfish, so I use the 20. Flatheads and big fish, and even my saltwater game, this is what I use the spool for. 50-pound, I snell it to a big 8/0 teen catfish circle hook. Get myself a bluegill or rock bass or whatever bait fish I could find and just let her do its thing. And I put all my faith into this leader line for flathead catfish. But that's all I have for you today. Just wanted to put something simple, put something easy together for y'all regarding line selection when it comes to your leaders in catfish angling. I hope you liked it. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, holler at me on my social media handles at Fishing with Dom, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the comment section below. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, thanks for watching. I'm Fishing with Dom. Take care.